Cirdan the Shipwright stands as one of the most enigmatic and enduring characters in Tolkien's legendarium. Known as the Lord of the Grey Havens or Mythland, Cirdan's life spans all three ages of Middle-earth and even stretches back to its creation during the Years of the Trees. His role as a steward of Middle-earth's maritime gateways, a counselor of wisdom, and a keeper of Narya, the Ring of Fire, cements him as a figure of immeasurable importance. Cirdan's survival past the War of the Ring is a testament to his unparalleled endurance, the inherent longevity of his kind, and his deep connection to the divine will of the Valar. As one of the first Teleri to awaken at Cirdan, his perspective encompasses the vast and tumultuous history of Arda. Unlike the more warlike elven leaders like Gil-galad or the enigmatic Galadriel, Cirdan's essence is rooted in patience, foresight, and unwavering dedication to his role as a custodian of Middle-earth shores. Cirdan's survival after Sauron's downfall cannot simply be attributed to his elven nature, though elves are indeed immortal unless slain, or succumbing to grief. Instead, his continued presence ties into the overarching themes of stewardship and transition within Tolkien's mythology. As a Maya, Gandalf's role on Middle-earth was temporary, yet Cirdan's was enduring, a symbolic anchor for the elves' waning influence and eventual departure. In the Silmarillion, Tolkien notes that Cirdan's wisdom surpassed even many of the Noldor, a race renowned for their knowledge. He foresaw the arrival of Gandalf and chose to gift him Narya, recognizing that the wizard's mission to inspire courage and hope aligned with the ring's purpose. This act reveals Cirdan's function as a vessel for Middle-earth's continuity, bridging the divine intentions of the Valar with the mortal struggles of men and hobbits. Cirdan's survival across the ages is not merely a narrative convenience, it is steeped in Middle-earth's historical and metaphysical framework. During the First Age, Cirdan fought valiantly in the Wars of Valeriand, most notably during the fall of the Havens of Sirion. His survival here underscores the resilience of his character, yet his focus never deviated from his purpose, aiding the journey of others to Valinor. After the fall of Númenor in the Second Age, Cirdan's leadership at Mythland helped consolidate the remaining elves of Lindon. He played a vital role in the last alliance of elves and men 304, Hero 341 of the Second Age, where his naval prowess and logistical support contributed to Sauron's initial downfall. Unlike Isildur, who faltered in the temptation of the One Ring, Cirdan represents the unwavering discipline of the Eldar. Cirdan's actions in the Third Age illustrate his steadfastness and wisdom amidst the chaos of Middle-earth's decline. The Third Age was marked by the diminishing power of the elves and the rise of men, yet Cirdan maintained his role as a guardian of transition and hope. His station at the Grey Havens made him a pivotal figure in the movement of peoples, as it was from Mythland that the elves departed for the Undying Lands. Cirdan was one of the few elves to grasp the enormity of Sauron's return during the Third Age. While he did not actively participate in the White Council's political intrigues, his wisdom was frequently sought by figures such as Elrond and Galadriel. His primary contribution came in the form of his quiet but crucial support, underscored by his gift of Narya to Gandalf. This decision was not made lightly. It demonstrated Cirdan's unparalleled foresight. By relinquishing the Ring of Fire, he entrusted one of the most potent artifacts to a being whose moral clarity could withstand its burdens. Cirdan's connection to the Fellowship of the Ring is subtle but deeply significant. The Grey Havens represented the culmination of Frodo's journey, a symbolic threshold between suffering and healing. It was Cirdan who prepared the vessel that carried Frodo, Bilbo, Gandalf, and others to Valinor. In The Return of the King, his appearance at the Havens is brief, yet his mere presence exudes an aura of calm reassurance. A final farewell from Middle-earth's most constant steward. The nature of Cirdan's survival is more than physical endurance. It ties into the cosmology of Middle-earth and the metaphysical relationship between the elves and the world. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Cirdan's focus was outward, towards others rather than himself. This sense of duty to Eru Ilúvatar and the Valar likely contributed to his ability to endure beyond the weariness that plagued other elves, such as Galadriel. Additionally, Cirdan's decision to remain in Middle-earth while most Teleri sailed to Valinor reveals his profound dedication to his role. While others, like Olwe, chose a life of peace in the Undying Lands, Cirdan accepted the burden of watching over a fading world. His choices, rooted in selflessness, reflect the divine themes of stewardship and responsibility that permeate Tolkien's works. The Grey Havens themselves symbolize more than a physical port. They are a liminal space where the temporal and eternal intersect. Cirdan's stewardship of this sacred place ties his character to the grander narrative of transition in Tolkien's legendarium. For the elves, the Havens represent an escape from the burdens of Arda Mard, a world tainted by Morgoth's corruption. For mortals like Frodo and Sam, the Havens signify healing and a reward for their sacrifices. The ships built by Cirdan reflect his understanding of divine craftsmanship, a gift that harks back to his early days as one of the Teleri. His ships were not mere vessels, but works imbued with the grace and artistry of the Eldar, designed to traverse the mortal and immortal realms. In this role, Cirdan not only preserved but extended the divine will of the Valar. Cirdan's foresight is one of his most defining characteristics. While elves are inherently attuned to the music of the Ainur, the divine song that shaped creation, Cirdan's gift was especially acute. This foresight influenced his actions throughout the ages, guiding his decision-making and solidifying his role as a steady hand in turbulent times. Cirdan's decision to bestow Narya upon Gandalf is one of the most profound examples of his foresight. At the time of Gandalf's arrival in Middle-earth around the year 1000 of the Third Age, Cirdan recognized the Maya's humility and steadfastness, qualities that aligned with the purpose of Narya. As Tolkien writes in Unfinished Tales, Cirdan told Gandalf, "Take now this ring, for you shall have need of it, for this is the ring of fire, and herewith, maybe, you shall rekindle hearts to the valor of old in a world that grows chill." This act demonstrates not only Cirdan's capacity to see beyond the present moment, but also his deep understanding of Gandalf's mission. By passing Narya to Gandalf, he indirectly aided the Fellowship's triumph and the preservation of Middle-earth against Sauron's shadow. Cirdan's connection to the Valar is another critical element of his longevity and endurance. While most elves communicated with the Valar only through indirect means, such as dreams or the guidance of the Maiar, Cirdan maintained a deeper connection. His service at the Grey Havens linked him symbolically and spiritually to the West, and by extension, to the blessings of the Valar. The ships he built carried the weight of this connection, as they ferried their passengers to Aman, the land of the Valar. It is plausible that this connection offered Cirdan a form of spiritual sustenance, allowing him to bear the long years of toil and sorrow in Middle-earth. While other elves might have succumbed to grief or weariness, Cirdan endured, fortified by his purpose and his unbroken link to Valinor. As Middle-earth entered the Fourth Age and the Age of Men began, Cirdan's continued presence marked the conclusion of the Eldar's stewardship. The departure of the Ringbearers in the year 3021 of the Third Age symbolized the closing of one chapter and the opening of another. Cirdan's role in this transition was not merely logistical, but deeply symbolic, acting as the final custodian of the old world as it passed into legend. Though Cirdan remained in Middle-earth for some time after the departure of Frodo and the other ring-bearers, his eventual departure signifies the completion of his work. With the elves' influence waning and the dominion of men rising, Cirdan's task to guide the Eldar back to the west and protect Middle-earth during its most vulnerable times was complete. This gradual withdrawal underscores a central theme in Tolkien's works: the inevitability of change and the passing of great ages. Cirdan's story invites a deeper reflection on Tolkien's overarching mythological themes. His long life and unwavering dedication reflect the virtues of humility, endurance, and faith. Unlike many of Tolkien's other characters, Cirdan sought no personal glory or dominion. His role was one of quiet, enduring service, a reflection of the divine order established by Eru Ilúvatar. Furthermore, his role in the construction of ships and the stewardship of the Havens aligns with Tolkien's fascination with maritime imagery and the symbolism of the sea. For Cirdan, the sea was both a barrier and a bridge, a reminder of the separation between Middle-earth and the divine realms, and a pathway toward redemption and healing. Cirdan's philosophy offers a unique perspective in Tolkien's legendarium, setting him apart from other leaders of the Eldar. Where many elves, particularly the Noldor, were driven by ambition or a desire to reclaim lost glory, Cirdan's actions consistently reflected humility and a focus on the greater good. His willingness to take a subordinate role in the grand narrative of Middle-earth, despite his immense age and wisdom, highlights his selflessness. The Noldor, particularly figures like Feanor and his descendants, were often characterized by their pride and their fierce pursuit of power or vengeance. By contrast, Cirdan's life was marked by a quiet resolve to fulfill his duty without seeking recognition. While Feanor's crafting of the Silmarils led to strife and bloodshed, Cirdan's craftsmanship as a shipwright brought healing and hope, symbolized by the ships that carried weary souls to Valinor. This contrast underscores one of Tolkien's central themes: the corrupting nature of pride versus the redemptive power of humility. Cirdan's story demonstrates that greatness in Tolkien's world is often found in service rather than dominion. Cirdan's deep connection to the sea and his role as a shipwright reflect the influence of Ulmo, the Vala of Waters. Ulmo's guidance was instrumental in the First Age, aiding figures like Tuor in their missions to counter Morgoth's influence. It is likely that Cirdan, as one of the Teleri who remained behind to serve as a guardian of Middle-earth's shores, shared a special relationship with Ulmo. Ulmo's concern for the children of Iluvatar often manifested in subtle, indirect ways, such as dreams, visions, or the call of the sea. Cirdan's foresight and his unwavering dedication to his task can be seen as extensions of this influence, marking him as a vessel of Ulmo's will in a world increasingly dominated by mortal concerns. Cirdan's role as a shipwright carries profound spiritual significance. His ships were not merely physical constructs, but symbols of transcendence and hope. They represented the possibility of renewal, both for those who sailed on them and for the world they left behind. In Tolkien's world, the act of creation often carries a moral dimension. Just as the Silmarils were a reflection of Feanor's inner turmoil, Cirdan's ships reflected his purity of purpose and devotion to Eru's design. By crafting vessels that bridged the mortal and immortal realms, Cirdan participated in a sacred act of stewardship. His ships were imbued with grace, enabling them to traverse the straight road to Valinor, a feat that symbolized the restoration of harmony after the turmoil of the ages. Cirdan's ultimate departure to Valinor likely occurred sometime after the beginning of the Fourth Age, marking the end of an era. Yet his legacy endures in the stories of those he aided and the hope he inspired. His ships, carrying Frodo, Gandalf, and others to the Undying Lands, became a metaphor for the healing of wounds and the passing of burdens. Cirdan's story reflects Tolkien's vision of a world shaped by selflessness, stewardship, and the quiet triumph of humility over hubris. His longevity and resilience, far from being mere narrative conveniences, serve as reminders of the enduring power of purpose. In Cirdan, we see a character who embraced the transient nature of his world while remaining steadfast in his duty to safeguard its passage into legend. Cirdan's legacy invites us to consider the broader implications of service and stewardship. In his enduring presence and quiet acts of courage, he stands as a beacon of hope and a reminder that, even in the face of change and loss, there is beauty in fulfilling one's purpose. Cirdan's eventual departure to Valinor signifies the closing of one of the most profound and long-standing chapters in Middle-earth's history. The Fourth Age, known as the Age of Men, marks the ascension of mortal realms and the diminishment of elven influence. Cirdan's departure, alongside other elves of great renown, symbolizes the final relinquishment of their role as the stewards of Middle-earth. Yet Cirdan's contributions, particularly in aiding the ring-bearers and facilitating the departure of the Eldar, provided the world with a foundation of hope and resilience. The absence of Cirdan and the other Eldar leaders creates a symbolic void that emphasizes the necessity of men to forge their path. This theme, central to Tolkien's legendarium, underscores the importance of stewardship and the gradual transition of power. Aragorn's reign as King Elisar is directly linked to the legacy of wisdom left by figures like Cirdan, Elrond, and Gandalf, who guided the mortal realms through their darkest times. The Grey Havens, though likely abandoned as a functional port after Cirdan's departure, remain a potent symbol of the elves' influence. In the hearts and minds of Middle-earth's inhabitants, the Havens are remembered as a place of hope and healing. For the mortal races, the Havens legend endures as a reminder of the elves' grace and the possibility of a world shaped by beauty and wisdom. Cirdan's story also serves as a reflection of Tolkien's broader theological and philosophical musings. In a world where power often corrupts and even the most noble can falter, Cirdan's steadfast humility and devotion to his purpose stand as a counterpoint to the temptations that plague other characters. His selfless actions resonate with Tolkien's Catholic worldview, which emphasizes the virtues of humility, service, and the ultimate triumph of divine providence. Cirdan's connection to the sea and his role as a guide for those departing Middle-earth align with Eru Ilúvatar's vision for Arda. In Tolkien's cosmology, the sea is often a metaphor for the divine, a boundary and a bridge between the mortal world and the eternal. Cirdan, as the steward of this passage, becomes a living extension of Eru's will, aiding the weary in their journey toward peace and renewal. Key takeaways from Cirdan's legacy. 1. The steadfast servant. Cirdan exemplifies the virtues of selflessness and dedication. His willingness to support others, often from behind the scenes, underscores the importance of quiet, humble leadership. 2. A symbol of transition. From the first age to the fourth, Cirdan serves as a bridge between the old and the new, facilitating the transition from the age of myth to the age of history. 3. A link to the divine. Through his shipbuilding, foresight, and connection to Ummo, Cirdan represents a tangible link to the Valar and Eru Ilúvatar's plan, highlighting the enduring presence of the divine in Middle-earth. 4. Hope beyond loss. Cirdan's enduring presence and eventual departure reflect Tolkien's themes of loss and renewal, showing that even as great things fade, their legacy inspires the future. Cirdan's survival, far from being a mere narrative device, serves as a cornerstone of Tolkien's exploration of stewardship, humility, and hope. His quiet strength and unwavering purpose make him one of Middle-earth's most fascinating and enduring characters, a reminder that true greatness lies not in power or renown, but in service and faithfulness to a higher calling.